This is actually a older figure. I believe it came out 2 or 3 years ago. Well, maybe not that long. But I had never saw this in the store. I did see Creature from the Black Lagoon once, but I never did actually get to find Frankenstein. We have a place here in St. Louis called the Antique Mall, and it's a great place to go to try to find some old and collectible figures. And they actually did have Frankenstein there, so I went ahead and picked him up. I have to say, I really actually like what they did with this packaging. It's pretty cool. On both sides of the package is Boris Karloff's image, and I think it's really a classy move. There is also quite a lot of text on the back of the package that talks about the figure, and the 2 images of the creature and the mummy. Alright, so it's time to open up Frankenstein's monster and take a look at him. These figures are actually pretty hard to find, and there's 2 different versions. There's a black and white version and a colored version, and this is actually the colored version. So first let's take a look at the sculpting. As you can see, it's not the exact duplicate of Boris Karloff. This is more of a cartoonish, exaggerated version of him. Some people might have a problem with more of an exaggerated look, but I think it looks fantastic. And this is actually made by Mezco, and they are pretty much known for their sort of exaggerated creatures. You can see the texture in the skin is great, and the red around the stitching is also really cool. You can pretty much see how large these shoes are, and it makes the figure actually pretty heavy. One of the best things about Frankenstein's monster is he actually is wearing real clothing that is torn on the bottom, which makes it really nice looking. The pants are made out of plastic. However, the jacket and the shirt are both real cloth. And the weird thing about the shirt is it's glued into the pants. And as you can see, it looks like there's some detail under the shirt that you aren't able to see because you cannot remove the shirt. Actually, after looking at him in a little bit more detail, I found out that you can remove the jacket. However, I can't get it past his hands, and I did not want to try to rip his hands out of joint. But as you can see, his arms even have more stitching and a lot more detail. And the black vest he has is velcroed, so you can open it up. So let's take a look at it. So as undressing Frankenstein monsters go, this is about as far as I can pull open the vest without breaking it. But check out all the stitching on his back. And this is actually just all covered to where if you hadn't taken it off, you would have never seen any of this. Alright, so curiosity got the best of me, and I went ahead and pulled the rest of his shirt down, which was a little difficult. But you can see all this amazing detail underneath these clothes that are really hard to remove, and you can't remove them all the way without tearing the cloth, because like I said, it's glued in. But you have all this really great hidden detail underneath his clothes. So with some difficulty, I did manage to get the creature dressed again. Alright, so for articulation, he has a ball jointed head, which the way the sculpt is, it's so well sculpted that just tilting the head one way or the other gives him so much personality. The elbows also have a little articulation. They don't bend up and down, but they do turn sideways. And his hands do rotate. Even with the shirt glued in, his waist does also bend. His legs, however, have zero articulation. So I really love the Frankenstein monster, and I'm always on the lookout for a great figure. And this is definitely it. Mezco did a spectacular job with this one. Now, I found him at the Antique Mall for about 24 bucks. However, he's selling it for a lot more online. In order to pick him up, you'll probably end up paying anywhere between 50 or 60 bucks. Also, this is a very tall figure. I would say it's probably reaching at least 12 inches. So let's bring up the old Figometer and see how Frankenstein's monster stacks up. As for articulation, it's not bad. I really like the ball jointed head. Like I said, it gives him a lot of personality just by moving the head left to right or up and down. Even though you can't pose him in crazy different poses, the Frankenstein monster really was never that articulated to start with. So overall, I think this is a fantastic figure. I really love the sculpting here. I think it's great that they have original cloth clothing on him, and I love the sculpt of the face. And even the weird sculpting that's covered up by his clothing. So overall, Frankenstein's monster gets a 5 out of 5.